Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to this new episode on our thoughts on the code channeling on rejuvenation, anti-aging, reverse aging. And if you haven't watched the code channeling, you can click in the description and you can click also in the air. So thank you, Leo, for showing us where to click. And so, Leo, what do you think of this co-channeling about youth?
Well, it's definitely tied to joy. That is what I'm the clear message for me. And I was really guided to do some push-ups as they were talking about right before. And I had done some squats and some body weight exercises in the morning, early morning, to kind of get my day going. But I noticed before the channeling, my energy had sort of um, sort of come down a bit more. And so I really felt this desire, this inner desire to pump it back up, pump it back up. So Caroline and I both, we did some exercises together, and I did some push-ups. I did few push-ups here and there, and it really pumped it up. And yes, the what they say about re-enlivening the flow of life, reinvigorating it, that is really what leads to rejuvenation. And the way in which we move the energy and re-enliven it is what really determines that. In other words, it's not just about moving the energies. That's a big part of it, but it's also about how are we moving it? Are we, as they say, forcing ourselves through struggle and failure and trying to push past through things? I feel this works to a certain extent, and I think it can work. Yes, I'm not saying that that's not a valid path. I think it can work, but at least for me, I feel the more sustainable path is one where we indeed pursue our goals, create high goals for ourselves that encompass our whole collective and the whole, not just our own personal lives, but the collective life as well, and pursue that in a more sustainable way by just resting along the way. And when we feel that is maybe our body's uncomfortable or such, yes, to let it give it a little bit of time to rest and then move forward again and then so that we're not having to yes push through barriers or all of this, but we're rather moving allowing we're parting the sea. Yes, we're parting the sea. And so I really resonated with that message, and I've been experiencing the benefits directly. Yeah.
And you have not just done a few push-ups,
Oh yes,
Leo. You've done
I did a
100.
couple.
When he says a few, it's 100 push-ups, squat, 100 squats, 100 many things. So yes, you trained quite a lot, and also in a joyful way, as they
Yes,
said.
that's the key. Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Yes, and of course so are you and Caroline are at times exercise buddies. And so we really do and we really do try to pump up the energies to prepare ourselves for the channeling because we understand the more clear, vibrant and the energies flowing through that when we channel, it's able to, yes, come through more vibrantly, more expressively. And so yes, we work. And although there are days for both of us where we're sort of engaged in more of the heavier energies just because of our life and what we're just because of our life. I think overall, our as a whole, we're doing great. I really feel that, and as Ashtar and Ra says, we can pat ourselves on the back and really and honor our own bodies. And so yes,
And I was very surprised that Ra spoke about voice almost at the
yes,
beginning, I think.
oh yes,
And do you wish to share more about voice and singing, Leo?
yeah. So what I've been experiencing is that our voice is a great representation of you could say our current frequency band. And it's important again to not only not judge, but to accept where we're at. And I think there's nothing wrong with wherever we are at, whatever frequency, however we feel we're vibrating, it's always good. That's just the truth. And it's about us seeing that in whatever situation we're in. And I think our voice is a great way to uplift our current frequency band. So, in other words, just because our voice, I'm not saying that a low voice is means that you're denser, heavier, and worse off. No, no, no. I'm saying that it just if you have a low voice, that's great as well, I think. But it just means you're vibrating at a slower frequency band. That's it. And slower does not mean worse. It just means lower does yeah, lower and just doesn't mean worse. It just means slower. And slower doesn't mean worse either. For the tortoise beat the hare, yes? And so I think it's the voice though is really a great way to assess where we are. And if we have a hoarse voice, then I think that's just a sign that we do some more clearing, clarifying, whether it's our diet or whatever that maybe doing a little bit more uh, exercise movement. Because I personally found that when my voice is not as clear, yes, indeed, my body and my the life is not flowing through as well and smoothly. So that's like a sign for me to, okay, do a little bit more clearing work, whether that's more push-ups or squats or having a vibrant fruit or a juice or water, however that may be, doing something to clear the energies and get it going. And of course, doing ohms and chants and vocal chanting, vocal tuning is very, very powerful. And I feel both of us, Caroline and I, are being guided to do that more. As they say, we're both very interested in learning and practicing how to sing. But because of our busy, busy lives, we aren't making the time yet. However, yes, I think we definitely will be very soon. It's a part of our path, I feel. So yeah, that's just what I feel about sound and voice.
And for me, it was also very interesting, and thank you, Leo, for your insights and your sharings. Um, yes, I was surprised that Ra would speak almost at the beginning of the co-telling about voice. And indeed, Ashtar said that we need to speak our truth, our mind, because if we hold too much, then it leads to stress us, even more, uh, and or to explosion at some time. If we hold back too much, then at some point we may, um, yes, explode in some ways. So I was surprised that they would speak about that. It makes sense that I was surprised, but I was even more surprised at the end when Ashar mentioned fashion, because I wrote the term fashion, and when he wanted to speak more about fashion, at first and foremost I was very surprised, and then I had no hints about what he wanted to say, and so I was quite not having doubts because I was trying to be as clear as I could, as clear as possible, and so to clear my mind and to have no other thoughts. But I could feel that I was also very much wondering, okay, what is Ashtar going to say about fashion and rejuvenate ourselves? So I was me, Caroline. I was imagining, okay, will he say that we need to wear, I don't know, to wear things like a teenager, or I don't know. And so I was a little bit nervous about the this part of the message because I had no hints. Me, Caroline, I was asking myself what would you want to speak about and what would be the link and the connection between fashion and youth or rejuvenating. But at the end, it made sense. So it is still showing me that I have to trust and trust and trust and trust the words that flow through. And at the beginning of the channeling, when Ashtar mentioned that we were supposed to live or that we were living in the past to 2000 to no to yes to 1200
Oh, yes.
years,
Hmm.
I received one 1.2. It was like a 1.2, and so but I knew that there was 1,000 And so I interpreted that as 1,200, but it was 1.2, 1.2, or 1, 2 point, or, but it was like this, 1.2, I guess. Or 1, 2 point, or 1, 2 point. But there was a point somewhere, and I could not translate this as there 1, 2 point does not mean a year. How am I supposed to translate this? So I said 1,200, and Ashtar agreed with that. So I think that was what he wanted to say. Although it did not came through me uh, that clearly. Um, and as for the rest, I think we spoke a lot about various topics, although I don't remember much. So I will have to watch our channeling again. Um, but I think that they covered a lot of topic,
Yes.
whether it's about food, whether it's about, oh yeah, they spoke about irrigating our lives, meaning to live accordingly to what we wish and what we desire, and also the voice, and also the exercise. And I enjoyed the questions that Ashtar asked to Ra, because Ashtar was very joyful about the channeling, and it was very much laughing. And when he asked the question about the beauty tips, I could really feel that it was such a joyful and playful topic. And as for me, Caroline, because I knew that Ashtar was kind of laughing, but me as Caroline, I was quite okay. Okay, come on, Ra, please give us some tips. What should I apply as a cream? Please tell us I don't know, a brand, a product, whatever, and a miracle product. And so it was quite funny. And also, as I took some notes from Ashtar, oh yes, the question, how old are you? Was funny because Ashtar answered at the same time in my head. And so they were asking Ra, but at the same time they wanted to answer themselves and say, oh, we are infinite, we're infinite. And so Ra said, we are zero. And so it was so fun because I had you saying, we are zero, and I could hear Ashtar, we're infinite, infinite. And and so it was very fun. But I was also surprised about one thing, is that in terms of energies, my energies have been quite low lately, even though I paid attention a lot to my food intake, especially the food. So I ate very healthy. My liquid intakes I could have drank more. Um, but mostly I think it was okay. However, in terms of thoughts, I have been having and nurturing lots of heavy thoughts related to anger. I was very angry and very frustrated, very much, way too much. And as I am trying, throughout this process of paying attention to our vibrations, I am trying to get rid of the anger. But as they say, this is a choice. And I know that Leo, we spoke about that, that I managed to prune a little bit of anger here and there in my life. And then suddenly it came back. And when it came back, these neural patterns of my mind or my brain just rewired all at the same time. And it was like a tsunami of being even more angry than I am used to be. And it's more inner anger. I am not shouting at anyone. I am not yelling at anyone. I'm just very frustrated and nourishing those thoughts. And again, lately, I have been nourishing those thoughts, meaning that even though I tried to prune those thoughts from my brain, from my mind, it came back more, and they're still very much present, right now. So I have to be even more cautious, etc., etc. And so I was a little bit afraid that Achar would not come through as easily, because as I wasn't clear in my mind, even though my body's clear, not my mind, I was afraid that the message will not come through easily. And so I am very surprised that Ashtar came through very easily. And it was very clearing for my mind. Meaning that the fact of channeling Ashtar, I feel way much more, as I had to make a pause on the anger that I was feeling before the channeling, or um, as we enter in a kind of meditative state, I guess, um, it's like the anger dropped completely while channeling because I don't have the mental space for both. So I have to choose, and so I choose to channel. So I choose to be in a certain state of mind, and so there is no frustration, there is no anger, there is no such things, as I have to have a clear mind. And so indeed, it had a very clear effect, a very cleaning or clearing effect on me. I know that you, Leo, you are quite used to feel that cleaning effect while channeling. And I think that for me, probably this is one of the very first time that I am experiencing this, having a quite agitating day. And then I channel and almost everything is gone. Um, so I'm both surprised and grateful. And yes, and so I was very surprised that the message would come through very easy, despite my mental state earlier, prior the channeling.
Yes, yes, I totally agree and understand. And yeah, what came to mind is well, so one thing that came to mind was the idea of I remember being told this by I don't remember who, maybe it was Ra, maybe it was another channeler, that we don't necessarily have to work against the underlying sort of anger principles or other sort of energies that we may still harbor a little bit, as we are born into this world, we take on some of these energies. And again, nothing wrong about or bad about them. It is, however, I feel in everyone's preference and desires, soul's desires to, as they say, ascend our experience of life. And I think as we, going back to your pruning example, which I love, I think it has to do with, as we prune these thoughts, so as we release these thoughts, it's also about planting or allowing branches of love and light and joy to grow in its place. Otherwise, I do feel that they can grow back in a way. And so I think that we always look for a shortcut, and I think the shortcut is the joy, is when we recalibrate towards the joy frequency and choose to do things that are joyful for us and that are joyful for our community and our world, then that we don't necessarily have to seek out and look for and prune every single, other branch of hatred or anger or frustration or sadness or guilt or any of this. It just, it happens naturally. And when we need to look at something directly, it'll be brought up for us to see and look at. And so as long as we continue to, aim for the joy, these sorts of frequencies and qualities of thoughts and expression, and we of course rest along the way in the peace, then we grow beautiful trees, beautiful fruit trees with nourishing, vibrant fruit, and we harvest them. And yes.
And do you have other thoughts about the co-channeling,
Hmm.
or is there a topic that caught your attention?
They all caught my attention, and nothing, no singular one is really coming to mind for me to speak about. So yes, I feel good now. I feel complete.
Mm. And do you remember the whole channeling, Leo?
I remember the main parts. Yes, I remember sort of the sequence. Um, we started off with yes, the intros and then the sound and then the singing, the voice. I think we moved into to exercise or something like this. Oh, Ashtar spoke about magnetic fields and us cultivating that to be able to sustain a rejuvenating flow of life. And and yes, there's just so much. I don't remember all the details. Yes.
It could be fun for another time, Leo, to try to remember and to see if we are managing to grow our memory
Oh
from the
yes.
channeling. Because I think that you remember more than I do. To me, I just have, yes, as you say, sequence, but I just know that we spoke about sound. Then uh, Ra spoke about moving.
Hmm.
Ashtar somewhere spoke about irrigating our lives.
Hmm.
Probably we spoke about food or nourishment, maybe a little bit.
Yes, I think Ashtar, I think Raw as well mentioned it briefly. Yes.
And so I know that we spoke about fashion at the end. But to be honest, yes, I just have some topics, but it's quite blank. And I think that if we try to do this exercise, maybe we will be able more and more to remember what we channel about.
Yeah, and I think it could be yeah, helpful. I think it just there's so much energy that yes, it was hard to remember everything.
Nice.
Do you have anything else to add, Caroline?
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, well, thank you all again once more for joining us. We hope you found this channeling and our thoughts on to be helpful. If you have any questions for future channeling or just any questions for us in general, please let us know and we'll get back to you on that. And yes, we love you all and we'll see you all in the next one.
Mhm. Thank you all, and indeed, thank you for watching this recording, and we will see you for another code channeling. So see you there.
Bye.
Bye.